Games Workshop have announced for the release of Armageddon, they'll be doing another Painting Legends, and I for one think that this is a great opportunity for me to pick up and finish off an old model. So on Suboden here, I haven't quite painted his gem, so today I'm going to be painting his little gem on his little rope he's got here. I'm only going to be using 3 colours for this, that is white, black and blue. And I'm going to start off with by making a 50-50 mix of my black and my blue colour. And I'm going to thin that down to about a glaze consistency. So now that I've got that glaze consistency, I'm going to cover about 50% of the gem. I'm going to go from the center and down to the edges, and always lifting at the edges, because wherever you lift your brush, that's where it's going to be the darkest. And I'm going to do this several times for several layers, because these are very thin layers. If you don't want to build texture, you've got to keep them thin. And each time I'm just going to try and get further and further away from the middle, so that it's a deeper, richer colour towards the edge. Now that I've got sort of the blend I'm looking for, I'm going to just go for a straight blue, still glaze consistency, and I'm just going to start glazing in the sort of 25%, 50% of the bit that's already coloured in. I'm always lifting my brush up at the point where I want the colour to be the darkest. Now, this video is probably only about 6 minutes long. I probably spent half an hour total doing this. I cut out all the footage of me doing it over and over again repeatedly. Now, it's a very small area, and I've overdone it a little bit, so I'm just going to go back to the 50-50 mix and just glaze back in that sort of darkness, that transition I want. Luckily for me, I've magnetised the head of this model, so I could just pull it off to make this easier. I kept nudging it with my brush and my finger, it was just getting in the way. Now that I've got the ratios about where I want them, I'm going to go to a 50-50 mix of my white colour and my blue colour. And then just the bottom, edge, the very bottom edge, I'm just going to colour in, paint in. This is about a layer consistency because I'm too lazy to keep glazing. If you want perfectly smooth transitions, you'd glaze all the way, but I get very lazy. And I've been at this for about 20 minutes at this point. And my brush slipped and I overdid it, so just as before, I'm going to go back in with the 50-50 mix Probably some pure black as well, and just bring back that sort of transition. You know, I make a lot of mistakes. Most people make loads of mistakes. And, you know, you just got to correct them. So, now that my colours are kind of where I want, I'm just going to rim the outline with black. And then I can repaint the gold. That's not an issue. But I like to rim the whole thing with a bit of black, just to add a bit of that definition. We're just going to finish off with a dot of white, a little spot highlight. So just get some of that pure white and very carefully dot it in the far opposite side from where your main highlight is. And there you have it. Here's your gem. This has been hard work. Thank you for watching.